Starship Troopers is action sci-fi at its best. In this movie review podcast, we're taking a look at its two lesser known sequels, Part 2, Hero of the Federation, and Part 3, Marauder, both of which I've not seen before and nor had my guest. We've done a podcast on the first original cult classic movie. Now it's time for Part 2, where we look at its two straight-to-video sequels. James Rowe, King Street Cinema, and now follow podcaster. You're back. We done Starship Troopers, the original, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And like myself, you're a fan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But also, like myself, you haven't seen parts 2 and 3.
Indeed.
And any reason why?
Well, being such a huge fan of the original, 2 and 3 always came across as a bit suspect. So I just gave them a miss. But very much looking forward to watching them now for the podcast.
Yeah. Do you know anything about them at all?
Not at all. Other than I believe that I think Phil Tippett, who did the special effects on the first one, directs either both or one of them.
He directs this one, Part 2, the one we're going to watch first.
Right.
And that's one of my reasons when looking into it that I'm like, I want to see this film. I'm very interested in why. And Part 3 is directed by the guy we mentioned in the last episode who wrote the screenplay,
right,
and wrote RoboCop.
I knew he wrote one. I knew he directed one of them.
Yeah,
we did mention that, didn't I? I think in the podcast before that. I thought maybe he did both, but right. So it's 3 that he directed.
Yeah, and the special effects fella.
Yeah,
does Part 2. Now I've looked into it a little bit. I'm quite excited. I know they're going to be lower budget, and they've not had great reviews. But with those people behind it, I'm intrigued.
Absolutely.
So track down copies of parts 2 and 3. We're going to watch them now. We're going to watch part 2. If you haven't already seen it, maybe watch it and pause when we do. And then listen to the chat and then comment and things. I know some people aren't bothered and just want to listen either way. Mm-hmm. And I know some people aren't even listening. If you're one of those, hello. Oh, hang on. What have I done?
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to now watch part 2. And I'm going to play you guys the trailer for that. And then we'll be back to talk about it.
They captured the brain. The troopers controlled the battlefield. But it was only the beginning. All personnel to the perimeter! The bugs are back. This time it's different. They're coming to wipe us out. Starship Troopers 2.
They're coming back to wipe us out. A group of troopers take refuge in an abandoned outpost after fighting alien bugs, failing to realise more danger lies in wait. That's a synopsis, James. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean that's what happened right at the beginning. Absolutely, it gets quite exciting.
Yeah.
As it progresses, I'd say quite enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised a little shocked at how different it was from the original movie.
Yeah.
And how well put together it was. I mean, I shouldn't have been so shocked because I think Tippett's he's a professional. He knows what he's doing. Not necessarily known so much for directing, but he's worked on many films, huge. Some of the biggest ever in science fiction. So he knows his stuff.
Would have been around. Years before.
And it's clearly been worked for many decades before making this movie. So very pleasantly surprised how enjoyable it was for a sequel that was it direct to DVD?
Direct to DVD and video it would have been then, because it's
so
21 years old now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 2004. So yeah, for a film that wasn't going to get a theatrical release, enjoyable movie.
Yeah,
you've got to look at it on that level, obviously.
Exactly. Then I think one of the reasons this film isn't regarded very highly at all is it has a low budget. Well, but low budget for this kind of film, and compared to the original, it's only got 7 million.
Wow!
So that's like 100 million less than the original.
Yeah,
so it's substantial less. So the one original cast member, and it's not one of the bigger roles.
No, but memorable again from the first film, and more so in this one.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's had a lot against it, and it was quite a few years after. It was 7 years after the original as well. So it wasn't. Well, I think that took time to come out because the original one didn't make the money they expected.
Absolutely.
So they weren't going to churn one out straight away.
No.
But it wasn't well received, and looking at reviews now on IMDb, it's got 3.6 out of 10, 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 1.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
Right.
And
that's a little unfair, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But I think a lot of people go into it expecting it to be a lot like the original and to carry straight on. Maybe putting the number 2 after the title doesn't help.
No,
because it's kind of like a different story
very
in
much
that universe.
Yeah, I mean, so this is a psychological sci-fi horror movie more than an action film.
Yeah, it draws you in with the action though.
Absolutely,
and it draws you in with the is it like info film? Yeah, the commercials.
Yeah.
Like it starts with one of those like an original to recruit people, and then there's a biggish battle scene.
Yeah, sure.
Like in the original.
Starts similar, very similar to the original film, and then very quickly turns into something else, something not like the original film, which I quite like. That I'm generally a fan of sequels that don't continue on in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
That they try different genres and give you different moods and expand the world and put it into different directions and all that kind of thing. And of course, going back to just quickly about the reviews being so low, certainly something that I've noticed when talking about sequels and films of this nature, that they will often get low scores if they are clearly influenced by lots of other films.
Yeah.
Often people don't really like that very much, and I can understand that because this film is clearly a bunch of other sci-fi films kind of put together. The Thing, Aliens, Species, all of that stuff is clearly there. It's not like it's vague. It's right in your face. Yeah, if you like those kind of films, hey, this is a film for you, kind of thing. Which, like I say, I get how people perhaps might not like that. I don't like that either myself, but it's made well enough that you can just go with it, I think. Yeah. You should do anyway, and not again, don't take it too seriously. Sure, it's not got the satire that the first one's got. It's not clever in that respect like the first one is. It's much more straightforward, but it is certainly anti-fascism, like the first film is.
Yeah, and some of the effects for the budget and stuff are great, I thought. There's one bit where it stood out to me badly. There was a bit of CGI blood there, and obviously there's a lot of CGI in this movie for the bugs. I think that looks fine. One harsh criticism I saw online was that the special effects are worse than the original, but it's 7 years later. Yeah, but it's a low budget film.
Yes, exactly.
I watched an episode last night of TV's The Flash. It was from 2018, and the special effects are worse than Jurassic Park, which are 20 years before.
Yeah, sure.
You can't.
Yeah,
you
absolutely. I mean, if a film has got a much lower budget, obviously you would expect that the effects aren't going to be as good, right? No matter what year they're made, if the budget is so different. I mean, obviously, if we're talking about like made 100 years ago or something, obviously there's going to be a difference. But made in like the last 30 years, sure.
Yeah, there was a good mix of practical and CGI, action sequences, and there's gore and decapitations and stuff in this.
Yeah, like I say, it's horror. This is certainly we're in the realms more so of a horror film. than we are than a straight up sci-fi action movie.
Yeah, it reminded me a bit of this with the sets and stuff. There's an 80s film called Creepazoids. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And if you're going to moan about budgets, Creepazoids was a good 10, 20 years before this. And this does look a hell of a lot better than that.
Absolutely.
And the acting I thought was great.
Fine. I mean, for me, there was no one that was, stand out in it, but no one was bad.
Yeah.
So there was no one sort of throwing you off and making you feel, oh, that's not good. Yeah. Or there were some very silly lines that I don't think the script is great. They say the story is not a wonderful. It's not like a wow, that's a wonderful piece of storytelling. But it's it's fine. It's and maybe people don't want that. Maybe people do want something to feel amazing every time they go and see a movie, and so perhaps they mark it down a bit for that. But yeah, for me, I mean, I'm just happy that we sat through it and enjoyed it. And didn't ever feel like, oh, when's this going to end, sort of thing.
Yeah, it was.
There was never a moment like that.
No, it was a fun ride, and it was, like I've said with the Trancers films in a way, it reminded me of an episode of a TV series. This could have been an Outer Limits.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it reminded me specifically of one of from the 90s Outer Limits episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, I come away from it thinking, well, I would watch it again. I'm not going to go out my way to, but it's fun.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And but a few little niggles. I didn't really like that the returning actor, was it Brenda Strong, played a different character.
Yeah.
I found that a bit sort of throws you off a bit.
I agree. Again, I'm sure that is something that I'm sure people, again, reviewing the film would put down as negative. For me, this kind of a movie, I don't really care.
I mean, it wouldn't put me off, but I just, at first, I was like, if I hadn't looked it up before, I would think it was that same character.
Yeah, I mean, we did mention it, I think, in the previous podcast, that maybe she comes back because they can bring people back in that world. But I thought that'd be very unlikely, just considering the kind of way that she died.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But nice to see again, though. I personally didn't have too much of a problem with that. In thinking about this idea of having actors come back for sequels in films but playing other characters, I'd quite like to see a film maybe made up of a whole bunch of actors from a previous film, but they play completely different characters.
They've done it with
in a sequel.
What was it called? A Fish Called Wanda and Fierce Creatures.
Sure.
They've done it, and So it has been done.
So if you have like an ensemble cast where you have the next film, but all playing different kind of.
Yeah. And as we mentioned straight after, before we started recording, this one is more of an ensemble cast than the original, because the original's got those standout characters. You've got your Denise Richards, Dina Meyer, Casper Van Dien's the main one, Ricco. Whereas in this, there's no Ricco.
There is no Ricco. There's no. We are following this character through his journey, and everyone else is a part of that journey. This is more, We're in a world like The Thing, you could say, where you could say, sure, The Thing is more the Kurt Russell's character, but you do get the feeling of they're all more. It's very contained. It's not time spent watching someone grow and develop. It's all happening in a very small space.
And with this. It's like The Thing. Basically, in this, the bugs get inside them, and for parts of the film, you don't know who's a bug and who isn't.
That's right.
And I think if there was the main protagonist we follow, all the way through, you will not suspect them of being it, unless it's a big twist at the end. So the fact that there wasn't one person we're following, you were thinking it could be any of them. Yeah, you didn't know. I mean, you could say, okay, the character of Dax is probably the one who's going to be there till the end. Yeah.
But you didn't know. It wasn't giving you clear, like, this is our hero, or these are the people that are definitely not going to make it, kind of thing. Yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure very intentional as well on the director's part to not make you feel that way.
Yeah, should we talk about Dax for a bit? Because when he first came into it, I thought he was a bit of a dick.
Yeah. So, it's one of them kind of red herrings or sort of thing where you think the character's going to be one way, but he's actually another. And that was cool. I quite like that. Yeah, so he starts off where you think, he's... well, obviously, they set him up as being a murderer, so you go, ooh.
Yeah, when they find him, he's in prison.
Yeah, he's in prison. That's right.
jail.
He's been in prison because he's murdered a corporal or colonel or something.
Yeah,
someone higher up.
Yeah.
And so, and just his demeanour and his attitude is just not very good. But you quickly do realise why. And I'm sure there are people that would just go, oh yeah, okay, he's playing the plays by his own rules kind of character. You know, has had enough of authority and all that. But he's a good guy, really.
Rambo,
Chuck Norris,
Chuck.
You know, that kind of thing. Not as cool as them.
No.
You know, but. Yeah, that kind of guy.
And he's played by Richard Burgi, is it? Who's a TV actor.
Yeah, I never seen him
in lots of American sort of soaps and dramas. He has been in some fairly big movies, such as the remake of Fun with Dick and Jane, Green Inferno, and he was, I think, one of the dads in the Friday the 13th remake.
Okay.
So
I've not seen any of those.
So he's been in like cinema releases. He was in Hostel 2.
Oh, I've seen that.
And I've seen that, but don't remember much of it. Then lots of TV, lots of sort of TV movies. And he in this, he is that stereotypical square-jawed. Yeah, Duke Nukem was a character that we mentioned during the film, and he does it fine. You know.
Absolutely. I would say everyone in it does what their characters are supposed to do perfectly fine. You know, commendable. Yeah, I'd certainly recommend this movie if people were interested in wanting to see a Starship Troopers sequel.
Yeah, especially, I mean, this podcast is sci-fi and horror. Obviously, with these films, we're focusing more on sci-fi, but I think it worked quite well that this comes into it as more of a horror.
Absolutely.
And I enjoyed that. Yeah. And it wasn't original.
Not at all.
But flipping the Starship Troopers world into that adds more to it, and then I suppose adds originality to that franchise if it's not a original
sure. It's not what if you love the first film and you're expecting more of that. That's not what you're getting. You're getting something completely different here.
Yeah, and as I've said before, I like it when they go different routes. Yes. And this as well, it's a bit of the fact that it wasn't well received. I think it done well. It must have done to get a third one. I think a lot of people rented this when it came out. It's hard to get hold of now. I had to get an import copy, but I think you can. I should let people know before. But if you do want to see it, you can rent it through Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and buy it through the same platform. So you can buy it digitally.
Sure. But this is I think we've talked about this in other times about a lot of movies don't get Blu-ray releases now.
No,
because they're just not financially worth it.
I think this one did have at some point.
Well, here in the UK.
Yeah, and when we go on to talk about the third one, there's a UK release I've got of the third one, which I actually picked up in a second-hand DVD shop for about £1.
Wow.
And that's quite easy to get a cheap copy of.
But the second one, not so much.
No. And the second one, because we hit the wrong buttons, we discovered that there's a commentary on it and stuff as well.
Indeed, So which is interesting.
I'd be quite interested to listen to the commentary. I don't know exactly who it's from. It just says filmmakers. So
maybe there's a handful of them.
It's hard to read because it's in German or something. So I don't.
Yeah, I think it's German.
Yeah. So, but I just wanted to mention another couple of the cast members.
Yeah.
The familiar face was Ed
Lauder.
Ed Lauder, who in
loads general in this one.
He's a general, and I believe that role was written to be the Clancy Brown character from the original, and they've changed it because they couldn't get him, or he didn't want to do it, or probably a budget thing is my guess. But he's great. Who is he? And we've talked about other stuff he's in, right? Because I recognise him mostly because of the 80s film Girls Just Want to Have Fun, where he's the dad.
He's in
he's in Raw Deal, and when I say who's he, I was about to follow up with who is he in True Romance?
See, I was thinking that too. He must play a cop. He must do in it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's not in it for more than 5 minutes.
No.
Because there are many people in True Romance who play quite small parts, aren't they?
Yeah.
You go, oh yeah, I recognise him from whatever, loads of things. He's very much that kind of an actor, kind of like certainly a supporting actor who was in many films.
Is that old traditional kind of character actor?
Character actor playing the kind of either cop or army, or that kind of thing. Never really playing, I don't know. I mean, he plays he plays the dad in to one of the. Is that right? In Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Yeah, he's the main character's military dad.
Military dad, exactly. Yeah. So that's the kind of character he plays.
He's in the Artist as well as a butler.
Right. I do you know what? I have not seen The Artist.
Really,
Which is weird,
I really like The Artist.
Everybody does.
No.
No?
When that came out, I got in arguments with people about it.
Really?
They were just saying
everyone that I knew who I was sort of familiar with at that time, was saying how much it was great it was.
Yeah, when we stop recording, I'll tell you the one person online who, because you know him.
Okay.
And he had a go because I didn't slag it off, but I said I wasn't a fan of the film Chopper when it came out.
Right.
And he used The Artist as an example of the sort of rubbish I watch.
Okay.
But yeah,
I quite like Chopper, but I can understand how people don't particularly like it.
Yeah, my criticism was I thought it was overhyped. Was what I said critically when it came out.
Fair enough.
But anyway, back to this.
Yeah.
I figured he was really good, and then we've got other main roles. The other sort of main hero in it is the character. It's another lieutenant, and my eyesight's bad, played by Colleen Porch, who's another one I didn't recognise. But she's in Transformers and a few other films. And I had a quick look on Letterboxd. There's not even a bio for her on there.
Oh.
So I don't know. But
might have done didn't do much.
No, might have done more TV in small roles. Might have been a model or something. I don't know. But she was fine. You know.
Like I say, no one in this was poor.
No.
So, I not really much else to say other than, competent enough character, playing, what she's got to do. It's important for the plot to continue because she has the premonitions, psychic powers.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Which are...
It played more on the psychic power stuff than in the original.
Very much so, which was good.
Yeah.
Because that was certainly a part of the film, which I'm glad they didn't too much in the first one because it would bog down the first film with stuff that's not necessary, because what's necessary in the first film is just the full-on action.
Yeah.
But it is good that they did expand it here because it is a part of the story which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And plays a crucial role in their survival, really. And without it, in fact, probably would have all died.
Yeah. What I really like about it as well is I was worried. Looking at the cover, there is a character. It is Drax, but I think it's Drax. But it made it look like the Ricco character in the first one, and I was so worried it was going to be just another going through. The training,
you're just going. Exactly. We're just going to redo the first film again, which is the cardinal sin of any good. Of any bad sequel. Yeah,
but it's also what a lot of the successful ones are, unfortunately. And I think you've got to get it right. Because this got panned, and recently I've done a podcast already on it, the rapid change in Megan and Megan 2.0, because that's the other way around to this, really. It was a horror, the first one, and then an action film.
Yeah.
But I think with this, that opening first 5-10 minutes is the first film. So it gets your mind in that, okay, I'm back in this. Yeah. Whereas in Megan, which, to be honest, I enjoyed Megan Point 2 more than I did this. But I can see the criticisms because there's hardly any horror in it at all, and it starts straight off as an action film.
Yeah.
Whereas you want to ease into it, I think.
Yeah, I agree. For the most part, worlds are very different. Megan and Starship Troopers are very different kind of.
If there's a crossover.
And Megan is certainly going for the whole Terminator franchise thing, where the first Terminator film is more horror film, where the second one is clearly not.
Yeah.
So they've got that. That's clearly what they wanted to very much make a mark straight away. Say, hey, we are not doing the first film again.
Yeah.
Where this, it's classic. It's classic sort of storytelling in the sense of like making sure that the audience knows where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, as well, I suppose I like how this happened, but maybe when people rented it when it came out, they sat there, the first 10 minutes they think are great because it's just like the other one. And then they're like, oh, what's happened?
Well, I certainly wouldn't have, because not only not liking that kind of way of making sequels, but the quality is not there.
Yeah.
Visually, it's still when you say the budget, you go, it's fine, it looks great for the budget, but it's not there, and you don't want. I certainly don't want a really low budget straight Starship Troopers story. That's going to be really dull.
Exactly. Yeah. I imagine they were sitting around and going, right, okay, so we can do a sequel. We've got no budget really. well, how can we do this? And then they looked at these other movies,
exactly.
and I think it worked.
Yeah.
And the director did say that when he was talking to the producers, that they looked at it like Alien and Aliens, only the other way around.
Yeah.
This one's Alien and the first one's Aliens.
Absolutely. You know, that is it. I mean, that's clear very early on.
And from a money-making point of view, to have a big budget film first and then follow it up with a smaller budget one, if I was a money man, that would be the way to do it. Whereas with something like Megan, they've started with a smaller one and then thought too big, spent more on the next one, even though not as much more as you'd think, but they did spend a lot more on it. Because sequels, no matter what, tend to make less money.
True.
So
most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose there's probably examples where it hasn't. Like I imagine the Fast and Furious films made more money as they went, or a lot of them as they went on.
Right. I mean, of course, it depends on how many you're making. I mean, people obviously get to a point where they've just had enough.
Yeah.
You know.
And I like the wait between movies as well, every couple of years. Maybe 7 years is a bit of a jump.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I certainly don't think that would have helped.
Yeah. And I don't think there was anything in between, because I thought there was an animated series, but there's definitely 2 animated movies after. And maybe the series went along with that as well.
Probably.
So literally there was 7 years of nothing.
Yeah.
But there was 7 years of building up the cult status of the film.
True, because it took a while for it to get the kind of fan base that it's got.
Yeah. And the fact that this was one of the first series of films we thought about doing on this podcast says that if we're thinking it, other people are as well.
Yeah, I would have thought
so. Cool. Right. And should we give it a quick rating out of 5?
Yeah, for me it's a 2.5.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. I mean, which is fine. You know, I think for this kind of thing is fine.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I'd say for me probably a 3.5. Mainly because I rate things higher.
Yeah.
But I generally enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to, and I don't care if things look cheap or whatever. But because the first one of this didn't, I think they done well enough. And they were sensible enough to restrict it to the smaller locations and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
You saw less space and less spaceships. And
indeed.
So, for me, it done its job, and it done its job well.
Yeah.
Okay, so part 3. Look at that.
Here we go. Starship Troopers 3, Marauder.
Marauder, which is a word said quite a bit in the second one, I noticed.
Yeah.
So they've known that anyway. So Casper Van Dien is back as Ricco. That's about all I know about this film, apart from it's directed by the guy who wrote the script for the original, and he wrote the script for the second one as well.
Indeed.
And the Robocop movies.
Yeah.
So
this is so clearly the Starship Troopers franchise is his franchise, really.
Yeah. And this one came out 4 years after the third one.
Yeah. Right. 4 years later.
So
yeah, I'm sure that I think it's Ed Neumeier, who's the writer and director on the third one. I'm sure he's also the producer or a producer on all 3. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. And he was one who, if you listen to the first podcast, you mentioned that he was the one who kind of talked Verhoeven into doing it.
Indeed, yeah, very much so.
So yeah, right. So we'll have a bit of a pause, and if you want to show it, I'll just quickly look up where people can watch it if they haven't and want to watch it. Pause this, or you can stop it and go, but you'd have to pause it for an hour and 45. And this one's got high reviews, but we'll talk about that in a sec. And you can watch it. Do you use Letterboxd, right? Because when it says how to watch something, mine never shows up unless I go off the page and back on it again.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay.
Which is really weird. So you can rent it on Apple, Google, and Amazon. And it says here it's available from HMV, but often, I've just clicked on it, it's currently unavailable. But that does say that it's had a physical release. So if you second-hand copies you can get. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a break. I might put an ad on, and then the trailer for the third, and then we'll be back very soon.
I'm Jem.
And I'm Victoria.
And we are childhood best friends with a true crime podcast called
The Criminal Crack. During each episode, one of us presents a true crime case to the other.
and the listener has no idea what the case will be.
So every reaction, question and twisted theory you hear is genuine and off the cuff.
So join us fortnightly on the platform of your choice.
And find us on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok by searching @The Criminal Crack.
Bye-bye!
Keep on trucking.
Today we have suffered defeat. But I'm confident that where there is defeat, we will make victory.
Do you have what it takes to be a citizen? The Federation needs you.
Me? Really?
Enlist now.
Yesterday, I dropped troopers into a combat zone.
Join up today.
How high you fly is up to you.
Do your part.
Join the mobile infantry and see if you've got what it takes to be a citizen.
Johnny Ricco.
Saddle up, troopers! Grenade!
Lola Beck.
Hold on!
Dix Hauser.
The bugs find this place, they knock out the flu.
Next up, Earth.
There goes the neighborhood.
There's a long war ahead.
Incoming!
And we need you now.
We're being tested. Loyalty, intelligence.
Get down! Here they come! You know what to do! Get in there and kill them all!
Starship Troopers 3, Marauder.
Let's go crack a planet.
It's a good day to die.
See you on the bounce, trooper.
Starship Troopers 3. Well, there was action. We got the satire back.
Yeah.
But James, was it any good?
No.
No.
I think it's fair to say this was not a very good film on all levels.
All levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't hate it.
No,
But
difficult to hate it.
I think coming off the back of part 2, which was completely a left turn for the franchise, but a left turn that worked.
Yeah.
This
Sort of it went back to the original kind of idea of the first movie. Lots of satire, heavy on the satire, heavy on the campness.
yeah.
But just everything good that exists in the first film doesn't really exist here.
No.
It does get you a little bit. I mean, the first bit of satire with the bulletins, the federal network stuff, was good.
Yeah, we laughed.
And we laughed a lot. And I thought, all right, here we go. It's obviously not going to be as good as the original, but it still might be good. And then very quickly, that just went away when you saw everything about the way the film was made.
Yeah.
The direction was poor. The storytelling was not good. The dialogue was awful. The acting, again,
even the sound level seemed
the mix of the audio was awful. Just nothing in it was good. And yeah, you can't salvage a film.
No.
You know,
I think
when all the technical elements just aren't working.
I think because of the way the second one was poorly received, they've tried too hard to recapture the spirit and the humour, especially of the original, but they hadn't got the budget and tried to do too much visually opposed to having a decent story.
Sure, I mean they've tried to make the world very big again, or the universe as it were, very big. So we've got spaceships, we're in space, we're on more than one location, got lots and lots of characters, lots of bugs. They look awful, by the way. The special effects are very bad.
But this is the thing. With the last movie, which was lower budget than this, they worked to their limits. Whereas in this one, they tried to do too much.
And it's just all looking poor because
they could have had a few good action scenes on that budget and worked on the story more, there could be a good film here. Some of the ideas I liked.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are some good ideas in there, and different director, just a general, just overall technically different people working on it. Maybe would have been a very much a different film. Could potentially be a good film even.
The director, it was his first film, wasn't it? First and only film he's directed.
Yeah.
We mentioned him before.
Yeah, so the writer again of this one and of all three.
Yeah, I was just checking actually because no, he didn't. I thought did he write RoboCop 3, which was also
I don't
a
think
shambles?
so.
No, he didn't. No,
right.
he didn't.
Yeah.
So there we go. That was my theory is maybe he can't make it to a third film.
Yeah, but it's very odd that that the writing is so bad, because it is bad. It's not that it for me anyway. It's not as if I'm just thinking everything else is bad, but maybe there was some good dialogue where there isn't. Yeah. For the most part, like I say, some of the satire right at the beginning is funny, but then we get two other bits that are the same thing, Federal Network bits, which again you'd hope were going to make you laugh, and they didn't. They just weren't as good as the opening one.
It's like the first movie. It started with gives you the feels of the original. Starts well, but unlike the second one, it doesn't go off in that more fun, interesting direction. No. Did you want to quickly summarise the plot? Do you want to?
Yeah. Okay. So we're on another planet. Couldn't quite remember the name of it. War's still going. Obviously, bugs are still rampant, and looks like war's never going to end. We're back with Johnny Ricco. Ricco. He's in charge of this outpost on this planet, and they're doing well, keeping the bugs at bay. But all of a sudden, the bugs get into their compound and pretty much kill everybody.
Yeah.
And some people who escape then end up on another planet in the escape pod, and one of them is very important because they have information that the bugs want, and so one of the guys who's with her, who is the sky marshal, so a very important person in the fleet, has been kind of taken over by the bugs in mind control sort of thing, where he believes that it's interesting because he comes across at a moment as being kind of mad, but not sort of taken over, where he says, look, I'm doing this for us. Like if I do this, make this deal with the bugs, then it will mean that we'll survive, because ultimately the bugs are going to beat us no matter what, because there's too many of them. So it's kind of almost like there's a rationale there, but at the same time he's supposed to be also kind of mind controlled. Yeah. So that was a bit confusing, I thought. There's a lot of bits like that where I'm like, oh, I'm not quite sure if they've really thought. This is why the writing's not great, where it's like, you haven't quite squared this properly. You've got a lot of ideas going on. There's too much, and they're conflicting with each other. He
was obviously trying to say that his mind was taking control because he's the one trying to control humans. Yeah. Because of he's like, how do you describe it? He's like because he's got a song out. He's doing all this, and he's like
he's a celebrity. Everyone loves him.
He's like the face of the propaganda.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. So there's that going on, and at the same time we've also got Ricco and his lot who are coming together to create this new group called the Marauders, which are basically like them in big robot type things, a bit kind of like kaiju-y type stuff. Yeah. So I don't know, Pacific Rim or Robot Jocks or something like that. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's the title of the film is Marauder, so I mean, that makes sense. They're not in it very much like that. They only pop up right at the end to save the day, which is fine. But I'm sure they would have hoped that they would have liked to have done more with the robots. They look awful.
I think that my guess after watching it, that might be where the animated goes.
Maybe.
Possibly. Yeah. Unless they learned from it and just done something completely different with the animated. But I know the first one is like the official part 4 is animated. They do. Continue. Yeah. But then this has no mention of anything to do with the second movie at all.
No. The second movie is a sort of standalone type thing. Of course, as we are back with Johnny Ricco, we have mention of things in the first film, like his victory on the planet P and stuff like that, and of course the brain bug, which is still alive and plays a role within this film. And of course, I'm sure the central satirical theme to this film is the rise of the Christian religion.
Yeah.
As playing a part as with certain people being a thing that you're not you are allowed to be religious, but you're supposed to keep it to yourself, and if you don't keep it to yourself and sort of bring it up often in conversation with people, it can seen as being sort of treasonous and whatnot. A lot of people get executed in this film by means of hanging, which I found a bit not unusual necessarily, but they did a lot of it, and I thought it was a bit kind of overdone.
Yeah,
it was over the top, I thought. But yeah, the satire with religion, I could see where they were going with it and the point of it, because it doesn't exist in the first film at all, which I like, because I always look at the world of Starship Troopers as they've got beyond religion.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they've eradicated, which they kind of make the idea of this is that, you know, in this film that is kind of where they've got, but it's started to creep back up again because people are, you know, feeling like we're going to lose ultimately, and we're going to need, you know, some extra firepower, as it were, in order to win, and that's God, obviously. And of course, at the end of the movie, they use Christianity as a means of propaganda tool, which the Nazis did, and you know, I mean,
you see what it's trying to do, but I don't think it works.
It doesn't work very well. Yeah, no. Exactly. It's just not strong. It's just not told very well. It's it's over the top in what it's trying to do. Like in the sort of stuff that is clever in the first film, it's just too silly in this, and just doesn't work. It's just not well written, sadly.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone in it, I'm pretty sure, I'm sure everyone in it can act better than they do in this film, and I think that it's the problem with the direction, is that they've been told to really camp it up, really make the satire, you know, silly to the point of just, you know, it's just too much. It's just too much, and when films are like that, you really just it's hard to stay engaged. We were both, you know, fine, you know, nodding off, and
I nearly went. And I think it does show that, you know, much like when Stephen King has directed his own work, it doesn't come out as well as if there's someone who's
sure.
You know,
I agree. I mean, some people might. I'm sure there are some people that quite like Maximum Overdrive. You know, the one that King made and directed himself. But yeah, I mean, it's generally true. I mean, I think a lot of the Stephen King films that he didn't like, I think were fine. I thought they were good.
I always see things as a different take anyway.
Yeah,
it's an adaptation. It isn't
exactly.
You know, and the cast here. There's no one. I didn't really recognise many people apart from Amanda Donoghue.
Sure.
Who she was in a soap, wasn't she, as well? That's what she was. I can't think what it was, but she's English, and I know her from the 80s horror The Lair of the White Worm,
that's right,
which is early Hugh Grant. She's also in like Liar Liar. She's done loads of stuff. That role was offered to Sarah Douglas originally, which I could see her doing. Do you know Sarah Douglas? Superman 2, the female villain.
Sure, that's right. Yeah.
She's in a lot of stuff as that sort of character.
Yeah, it would have worked perfectly. She would have been great at that. So the character is Admiral, I think. Yeah. And you think that she's the villain, and of course, in a certain way, you want to look at it, she is, but she's completely not in order for the Federation to exist. Because of course, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we're following the Federation as being our heroes and our good guys, when of course, yes, you could in a way see them, but in another way they're not. And and so there's a lot of that. You know, we get to see certain, like, you know, peace activist types in this film who are completely shown obviously as villainous and you know, bad, but of course in another film they would be the good guys.
Exactly. You know? I mean, I liked what they were trying to do with that, but even that didn't really work. I mean,
it didn't, because I've gone over why.
I said, what did you think of the actual action sequences? And
everything technical was not great.
No, it looked very PlayStation. The effects looked very, and with the second one, you know, I'm going to keep comparing to that because that's kind of the point. The little bit of action in it was done a lot better.
Oh, so much better.
There was like proper gore effects that worked.
Yeah.
In this, it was just explosions opposed to actual. I
mean, there were some bits with like the exploding heads and stuff which were okay You know, the bit where the brain bug blows people's heads up. I mean, that wasn't so bad. Like, you know,
there was a bit where there's a silhouette of a head coming off. That worked.
Yeah,
early on, and I liked the effects for the bug bomb things looked okay.
Yeah.
But that reminded me of sort of something like Critters and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And then but that just okay though, not
great.
And considering this is just under triple the budget of the second. It was like what they should have done, I think, is took what worked from the second, but then expanded. It's like they've completely ignored that. But unfortunately, maybe the reviews didn't do well. But the film as a film worked, whereas this doesn't.
Agreed.
So they should have got elements of that, I feel.
It's interesting just watching them back to back.
Yeah.
Seeing very different movies, in supposedly in the same world, in the same universe, whatever, cinematically. Just very strange, very interesting to see such a contrast. Because 2 is not a great film, but is decent.
Yeah.
And everything about it is decent. It's not just like some of it works really well, but other bits don't. It's all collectively a solid enough film. But this really isn't.
Yeah. And I think it helped me realise that as well, because maybe if I'd have watched it separately, I've had time to think more about the original again. I might have liked the third one a bit better, but it isn't good. No. And it is such a shame.
It really is.
Yeah. I think clearly I liked the second one more than you did, but I think it's
you did. I'm sure you did, but I still did enjoy it.
But it's I like that sort of. I know you do as well, but I'm a big fan of like low budget horror.
Yeah,
and I was surprised that's what I got. That was
it was not expected.
No,
this third one is sadly what I was expecting and was hoping was not going to be the case.
So out of the two is like glad we watched them. It's good to compare them.
Absolutely.
But I think if the second film had been the third and I weren't doing it for a podcast, I might not have even watched the third. I think that's you know what I mean.
Absolutely. No, I wouldn't have.
If it was the other way around. Shame.
Yeah.
So the action sequences in both films, they've thrown some nudity in, which is sort of known for Van Herman in the original. In the first one, so in the second movie, it did feel a bit forced, but at least that was in sort of a sexual scene.
Yeah, I mean, there were sexual scenes in that one. I mean, sexual scenes as in species type of sexual scenes, of course, in order to, for the horror to happen, as it were, for the plot of the horror. But in this one, as in with the first one, the nudity is just because it's not sexual.
Well, in the first one, it was to show. They were still when they're showering together, and it was to show that in the future that's what happens.
That's what happens.
But in the third one, they were just in the nude to suit up for these armor, which you didn't really need to be seen. I think it was ticking boxes, but
exactly, completely.
Yeah. So never mind.
Yeah.
But I mean, disappointing. But overall, glad I watched them both.
Yeah.
And I doubt I'll ever rewatch the third one, but I know I'll end up late night one night after the pub, whatever, putting the second one on. And it doesn't particularly inspire me to watch the animated movies.
No,
but, maybe one day we'll sit down and do it. But it's firstly with this podcast, I've never done animation. I'm not saying even just to watch it do a podcast, but I don't know if I'm even interested to go and watch the others. I mean, the only draw I think would be that I think Dina Meyer's back doing the voice.
Right.
But then even that will throw me because her character
died.
Yeah. So they could have at least have got Brenda Strong in the third one as a different character together.
That would have been continuity between the
that'd
three.
Been nice.
Like, wow, interesting. Yeah. How many actors could say they've done that?
Exactly.
Three films in a franchise all playing different characters. That would have been interesting.
So should we rate the?
Well, it's going to be a 1 for me. I'm sorry.
I think for me it's going to be. I'm going to 1.5. I was going to say 2, but it's not. There's a few things I liked about it, but the things I liked weren't executed well.
No.
But
that's pretty crazy. Starship Troopers I give a 5.
Yeah.
And then 2.5, and then a 1.
That's a declining.
It really is.
But interestingly, this is a word I use a lot in the podcast. Interestingly, on Letterboxd this has got 2.2, so that's higher than the
really
than the second.
That's crazy.
4.4 on IMDb, which is higher than the second.
That's crazy.
And 43% on Rotten Tomatoes,
which is higher.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The only thing that's higher about this film is the budget, in my opinion. That's
absolutely.
What I've got from this franchise is proof you can make a decent low budget sequel to a big budget film. That I think they've proven that.
Yeah.
Don't try to create things for fan service, because that's from the third.
Yeah.
And at least they knew when to stop.
Oh, indeed. Because there haven't been any more movies since this one, which was 2008.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'd say the third one is up there with... Have you seen the third I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Was that just come out?
No, it's the fourth one.
I only saw the first one.
The third one was like a straight-to-video, just trying to rehash, really low-budget, poorly made.
Yeah.
Almost forgotten. I can't even remember what that one was called.
Oh, really?
Because it was I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Right. You can't remember.
Who cares what you
did last summer?
But I will say, I mentioned this in the last podcast on the Mickey Mouse horrors, that the new I Know What You Did Last Summer I did enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
In the way, like the first one, enjoyable, but not.
Not a masterpiece. Is it a reboot?
It's a reboot, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Well, no, it's a what's the word? Because some of the characters from the original are back.
Oh, really?
And then there's new characters.
So it's a sequel?
It's a requel.
A requel?
Like they've done with Scream.
Right.
So yeah.
I never saw that of Scream. I saw 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Of Scream. There's a fourth one, isn't there? And then there's the newer one.
Yeah, and I'd say the newer one. There's the first comeback one, Scream.
Yeah.
Then there's another one since.
Oh, really?
Which I thought was really cool. The last one,
mm-hmm.
They twisted it enough and they put the humour in. And I've liked them all, don't get me wrong. But 1 and 2 are the best. Yeah. And then I probably like the newer one.
Okay. Yeah, I remember 3 not being too great. Is it reality TV type
thing? Yeah,
Jay
and Silent Bob are in it.
Yeah, for like a half a second. Yeah.
3 was very Big Brother, like they done with.
Yeah, that's right.
They've done that with a Halloween film as well, Resurrection.
Oh, the one with Busta Rhymes.
Yeah,
I can't stand that film, and yet it's got its fans though. There's some people that absolutely love it.
I don't love it. I saw it in cinema with my mum, and we laughed at it.
Yeah,
right? But it's sort of lumped in with stuff like Jason X, which has got. But I see why there's fans for Jason X because. It's enjoyable stuff in it. Resurrection's just rubbish.
Yeah,
it's not.
I think that's on the par with Jason and Freddy for me.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like it more now. When it first came out, I was like, this could have been great. But now on a nostalgia, because it's so early 2000s, they're like fighting to POD plan and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. You can't be doing that.
I can't handle it's just silly new metal in a horror movie. I don't like it.
But it's also in Starship Troopers 3. There's the guy doing the songs. The songs could have been better. It could have been.
Yeah, fun. I mean, it wasn't too bad, that song. Yeah. You're on the Blu-ray. You've got the music video for the song's called "It's a Good Day to Die."
Yeah.
So they're obviously trying with that one to make that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But
I did like the merchandise you could buy.
Yeah, that was funny. Would you like to buy more? That was good as well.
Yeah, because one thing we haven't done throughout these episodes is like we should have ended every sequence with "Would you like to know more?"
Yeah.
But then if you haven't seen the movies,
it's a line from the movies which is very good, which people have used apparently in memes for years now, and I have never noticed them these memes. But I was looking up about Starship Troopers, the legacy of it. There are certain lines from the film that have become very much meme fodder, and that was one of them.
Yeah. So this is another franchise that keeps saying they're going to remake it.
I did not know that. I mean, I wouldn't be. I'm generally not against remakes. If people want to remake a film, fine.
Yeah.
Even with this one, I'd feel the same. I don't really care. I probably wouldn't see it, or at least I wouldn't rush out to go see it. But sure, if people want to if you want to give it another go, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it could work, could go either way, but it don't affect the original movie as in. The sequels don't really affect it.
Not at all. And watching them has made no difference to me on the original film.
Yeah. I think if they were to redo it, if it was a flat out remake, I'd go and see it, but have no expectations. If it was a requel, like we said, I'd done I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream and several other things,
right,
I'd be more excited.
Yeah.
I think if they had a decent team behind it, maybe if they got the original director back, which could happen, or a good up and coming director.
Yeah.
But I think good on them for letting 2 new directors, even though they come from the film industry, giving it a go.
Yeah,
because there's a bit of experimentation there.
Sure, but they're involved with the original film.
That's what I mean.
Well.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's nice that it's a sort of a family affair, as it were, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is really, I have not. It's a real shame, like I say, about the third one being as bad as it is. But I do not care that people make a sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if that's what people want to do, that's fine. It shouldn't, in the minds of other people, it shouldn't, diminish whatever you may have liked that came before.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It doesn't. I don't understand that.
No.
It ruined the first one.
How?
Yeah.
How? Yeah.
So yeah, one thing we didn't mention, I meant to, is there's another mention in part 2. The character Denise Richards plays is on the end of a radio talking to one of the generals.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd mention that because I meant to during the... But I didn't pick up on it, to be fair. It's just I read that in the... But I suppose if you're huge fans of the films, you'd recognise the name instantly, whereas I...
Sure, yeah, I hadn't... I mean, I was a big fan, but I still didn't...
didn't pick up
on it.
So, yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this one.
You're welcome.
And we'll do something again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to, at some point, I keep saying it, do all the Nightmare on Elm Streets and Critters, and you're coming on for, I don't know if we've said which one. Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street.
New Nightmare for the Nightmare on Elm Streets and part 4 for the Critters.
Yeah, which is, you like that
I
one?
love 4. I get why people don't, because it's not really a Critters movie, but I love 4. I think it's great.
So that, I don't know when that'll be, but we'll get it at some point. As usual, I will mention a big thank you to James Howard, the Talking Sleeve, for doing the music and interludes. Ian Pointer for basically helping with the show in general, with merch and that, and doing our logo. He's done that. He'll be on soon. We're going to do an episode. We've done a vote, actually. Did you vote?
I did.
You did vote. Voting for, it's called Effing Remakes, and we're voting for different classics and remade horror films and sci-fi, actually, beginning with F.
Yeah.
The poll's over now. It was Firestarter,
which I voted for.
The Fog, Fright Night, which I secretly voted for because I wanted to win, and The Fly, and there was a fifth one. The Fog, Firestarter, Flatliners.
Flatliners, that's right,
yeah. And The Fly won, so there'll be an episode probably next week coming out about the 1958 Vincent Price classic The Fly.
Yes.
And is it 1986?
1986 Cronenberg film.
Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis.
Brilliant.
In the best film those two are in together.
Indeed, yes.
But
that film was just one of the best, right? One of the best horror movies of all time.
It's what got me into Cronenberg as a kid, and I was too young to watch it.
Yeah, it's an amazing film.
Yeah, so follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. You can listen on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and of course our original home, Spotify. I should have said, if you want to know more, follow us on Facebook.
Would you like to know more?
Yeah.
Follow us on all of these things.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. Be back very soon. Thank you, James.